episode 14. Yeah, I think we're up to. You see, like I should know these things. Like
You should know these things. Why don't you know how many episodes you're at?
We'll blame it on the fact that I did 4 miles today on a walk in the heat. I should be like a totally burnt different color, but that's besides the point. I got Jason Blaha here.
Nope, that's me. I'm here. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here.
There you go. So at the same time we've been discussing right before we hit record, I'm troubleshooting with Brad because he has the same technical difficulties as last week to get in here. So I'm working with him to get in here as well. Andrew, he said he may join, and then Dale may pop in here at some point. But thanks for joining, Jason. I appreciate it.
You're most welcome, man. Pleasure to be here. Hopefully we have some fun. Good conversations.
Yeah, right on. This kind of was like, I kind of have like a 2-week head start of like somebody I have like, all right, I'm going to try to like get this person, get them, and we start conversations, best date and time. Right. And then you left a comment on the video, and that's like how the conversation started. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try it. Jason, you want to join?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, you put the message down there because several of my fans sent it to me. Like, Robert Frank mentioned you, and he actually has some positive stuff. And Andrew said this. So I'm like, well, let me go check this out. Let me see what they have to say. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I left a message. And then you were like, well, some people said, hey, you should have him in here. And you're like, well, I don't know. It's up to him. So then I'm like, okay, hey, might as well, I mean, you're going to get trolled pretty hard for having me in here, but it's all good. You said you're used to it.
Dude, the amount of shit that Brad and Andrew many years ago said, once you're in this, there's no escaping. And the vile hatred and like disgust for me, I mean, like that kind of like segues into like my like initial question for you is, I only know you from all the noise. Like I don't know anything about Jason Blaha. So like that's my first question to you is like, who's Jason Blaha? Like, where'd you grow up? Who's your dad? What does he do?
Right. So it's like, so there's a whole internet persona that has been created by other people that is no resemblance to me. None of my friends and family would even recognize the person who I'm presented as by other people online at all. They would be like, they're not talking about Jason. They're using his face, but that's not him. I'm originally born in a small town in central Texas, moved back and forth to Houston a bit, country originally. Obviously, I do the strength training now, powerlifting, YouTube fitness. I've been in YouTube fitness for 13 years. I've been coaching a lot through there, but I mean, I even used to do hydrogen, natural gas work in the past, and did some training. Obviously, I trained all through that. I did a little personal training part-time. I got really sick in my early 30s, spent a year in bed, gained over 100 pounds again. I've been fat previously, which got me into fitness. I was like 30-20 when I was 19. But then I got fat again, got sick, and kind of documented my process of rebuilding myself. After I got sick in my early 30s, that's when I started my YouTube. So kind of went from walking with a cane, losing 100 pounds, to squatting 500 pounds.
What were you sick from? Do you mind?
I had Meniere's disease. I've always had ear issues. So like my left eardrum is artificial. I have some fake bones and stuff in there that are grafts. So I was deaf for 7 years in that one. But then I developed an autoimmune issue that attacks my inner ear.
Oh, wow.
Attacks my vestibular labyrinth. So it got me so sick that I couldn't walk without vomiting. So, I mean, I was completely disabled. It's like I could barely leave the house. And like, so
what is that medication to fix it, or?
It kind of reached a burnout phase. So it goes into what they call a burnout, to where eventually what happens, you stop getting all the vertigo attacks where you're just puking your guts up and everyone thinks you're drunk, to where you just completely lose all sense of balance and movement. And it starts just going away. So then you also don't feel the room spinning anymore like you're drunk, but you also have no sense of orientation. So you have to be visually cued. But strength training helped me a lot with that, lifting weights again. Now, again, all my haters say this is fake, but it's all documented in my medical records. So I rebuilt myself from there, and that was kind of how I documented the whole YouTube thing. And so
how long have you been on YouTube for?
Since 2012. 2012. So I've been doing it 13 years. Yeah. Nice. So 13 years of that. And the same thing with like my Facebook page. I've been doing it a while. And then eventually I turned it all into just a coaching business on top of it. So that's pretty much my main thing, is the coaching. Even though I put up content every day, online coaching, virtual coaching is actually what I do for a living. Right. And I've been doing that the entire time. I haven't had a normal 9 to 5 off the internet in 15 years.
So
Actually, one.
I mean, I'm not asking what your clients look like, but what are some of the clientele that you get? Are they just like soccer moms, or
No,
they just
no, no,
run the
no. I mean,
gamut?
I put a lot up. I mean, I'm doing a lot of what I call my dad bod transformations now, to where I take guys who are, they're semi-fit, little, sometimes not in the best shape, and then we get them really jacked. So, I mean, I put up some of their stuff. Like, I mean, most of my dad bod guys just squat 400 to 500 pounds.
Really?
I mean, and I think that's normal. I tell that to guys. I mean, I don't think a 400-pound squat for a guy in his 40s is unreasonable if you've been training 10 years. I mean, I squat 500 right now with no sleeves. I'm 48. So, and I have abs. So it's not like I'm walking around fat. So this is kind of what they are. But I mean, I have some people who are Gen Pop, but I mean, I have all the way up to pretty serious power lifters. I mean, I've had powerlifting clients who squat 600 plus, deadlift 700 plus, bench in the 400s. I've had a lot of those. I do a few martial artists. I have 3 guys who do BJJ right now.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them compete in it. But then I have Gen Pop guys who just need to get in shape, who are still building a base and stuff.
Nice.
I've had more women in the past. I only have one client who's a woman at the moment, but I've also had various female competitors and stuff who compete in strength sports, boxing. So, and I have vlogs. Like, I have 4 clients who I'm doing vlogs right now with their training every week. So I kind of put up their training and people can see what they do. And it goes up on all my social media.
Do you do any BJJ yourself or no?
No, I don't do any martial arts.
Yeah, I just picked that up within like the last year, and actually
It's
no,
getting really
more like
popular.
the last 6 months. And
Yeah.
it for a guy like me who's like partially handicapped in a lot of ways with my legs, it's fantastic. I super sore. Like the level of like bottom fucking muscles you use is insane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, one of my guys now, he handles a huge workload. Like, but he rolls 4 days a week. So he does 4 days of BJJ, and then he does boxing twice a week. But I have him in the gym 5 days a week. And I mean, he cranks out sets of 10 with 315 on the squat. He's like 170 ripped. But he likes that much workload. But a lot of times my competitors like that, if they're serious BJJ, I might only have them lift 3 days a week. Like, because I coached his name, Joshua Taylor. He fights over in the UK, and he's like a national ranked BJJ guy there. I did vlogs with his stuff for a little while, but we never touched weights more than 3 days a week, because he was rolling 6 times a week for 2 hours at a time.
Holy shit.
You can't have that. You can't be in the gym lifting a lot. Like, our workouts for 40 minutes, 3 times a week.
I roll for like only 2 days out of the week. I can't. That's a lot. That's a lot for me. I can't.
Yeah.
6
Well,
fucking
it
days.
beats you up. It beats you up big time. And like when he was doing 6 days a week, we couldn't handle more than 40 minutes 3 times a week in the gym. He just couldn't. And then we'd scale it back right before a tournament. He just needed to maintain his strength. But he was always beat up. So we were always fighting around injuries and beat up elbows, beat up knees, having to do all this restoration work and band work just to keep him from hurting all the time.
Besides a clientele, like what's on Jason Blaha's Netflix list of things you watch?
Right now I'm so busy trying to do business stuff. I don't watch anything. So for me, all my free time is spent either playing the guitar or painting or just social life, spending time with people I care about, spending time with ladies, even though I'm single. You have to have lady friends.
We talked heavily about that prior.
We'll keep a lot of that off here.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that's good. So I see the Les Paul. Is that one in the background, right?
Yeah, so that's that one, and then I've got my Fender Strat on the other side. That's a Fender American Strat, professional. So it's the Professional 2, and then the Gibson is a traditional profile.
So if I get in your car, right, and your streaming starts going, what are some of what am I instantly listening to, like Slipknot, Metallica? What do you got going?
No, okay. So if just whatever comes onto my car off my music, you're probably going to hear ZZ Top, Stevie Ray Vaughan, AC/DC. You might hear some Motorhead. So I'm trying to think of what's on my playlist. Yeah. So I like Motorhead too. But you'll have other stuff in there, like the Donnas will come through, just whatever.
Yeah, I love Motorhead. So God was never on your side.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite Motorhead song is Born to Raise Hell.
Born to, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right on, man. So I was going to dive into this a little bit. So essentially, like going back to my initial question, like I only know you from all the noise, right? So, and this is what, like, I was going to let these guys come in here and Dale and everybody, they usually ask this question. Were you aware that Big Lenny had passed in October?
I was aware. I know that Lenny had died, and I didn't know a lot about. Let's see, here's the thing: people bring this up in my lives. They'll bring up Lenny, and I'm like, I try not to discuss Lenny because I heard a bunch of really bad rumors that I don't want to repeat if they're not true. I heard some really bad stuff, but I'm also like, if it's true, it's terrible. But I hear bad stuff about myself that isn't true.
Same thing with me.
So so it's kind of like, I mean, it was, and I'm not going to repeat what the rumors were because if they're, I don't want to talk bad about a person who's passed if those rumors are not true, but they were
Right.
like really bad allegations. But I'm like, I've had the same sort of BS said about me that's literally not true. So I don't like to repeat that. But it did make me caution because someone I knew had said, no, I'm sure he's into this or that. And I'm like, what? You know, so that's why I've left it alone. But yeah, I did know that he died sometime back. I mean, we all knew his health was bad. And, he had organ issues, didn't he? Didn't he have organ failure?
Yeah, so he was a diabetic, right? So he wouldn't say that, right? He would never mutter the words, "I'm a diabetic." It's cookie cutter. It's whatever.
Right.
But and anytime he was in the hospital, and the few times I saw him in the hospital, he would say, "Oh, like I'm holding too much water," and I'm like, even Mike Titz, who is his like close friend, was he was in Northwest Medical, and I stopped by, and like Lenny's spewing this towards us about holding too much water. And I just looked at him and we looked at Lenny, like, you're fucking diabetic, man. Like, you gotta like acknowledge like you have some real medical issues.
Right.
It's just like,
Because
I
you
won't
can't
let a
treat
doctor. Right. Yeah, he wouldn't want to listen to the doctors, but like the doctors for the most part knew like what he had and what he was dealing with, but he would never repeat that.
Right.
So, it's sad. It's sad the way he went out. And a lot of people there's been a few messages my way about, essentially like where like it's a mockery that we're talking about like, Lenny, but, the guy's dead, he lived the life he lived. And these are the things that he did in his life. It's super sad the way he went out. Like he was alone and he just, it was just sad for somebody that has such a cult following to go out that way.
Yeah, because he did have a following. Yeah, he really did.
Huge. Yeah. And the thing is too, another weird thing is too, is like I'll get messages like, you didn't ask Jay Masters when I interviewed him, like you didn't ask him enough about Lenny. And then I'll get other ones saying, don't talk about Lenny. So it's like, you can't make anybody happy.
You can't make anybody happy.
Right.
Here's kind of what a line I've uttered when it comes to people out there. I think I've said before, if I shit you guys a golden egg, you would bitch and cry that it wasn't made out of platinum and studded with diamonds.
I like that one.
I've said that line before. And you can't make people happy. But we come over to those problems with the diabetes. I mean, this is the thing we deal with in the lifting world. Because most people use gear. I mean, let's be realistic. Almost no one who even screams they're natural is natural. We all use something. And the problem is that when a lot of people abuse a lot of stuff, they're in denial of the consequences. That is a sad reality. And, so again, we get guys who they use maybe too much insulin with their growth hormone. They get diabetes from it. They don't want to acknowledge it. I've seen that before. And that could have been the case because he obviously used gear. And so maybe that was the issue that caused the diabetes, maybe too much insulin use. I mean, we've all seen it. But guys don't want to acknowledge that. They really don't.
No, for sure. No, I mean, we all knew he somewhat abused every like PED you could think of. Right. But, towards the end, it was just, Lenny was like super hard-headed. You could never really get through to him. And now I'm just regurgitating the stuff that comes from like Andrew and Brad and everybody else. But, he wanted to live the lifestyle he did. Like Andrew said, he wanted to be a freak and he wanted to live that lifestyle. So it's like, when we talk about it, they're like, oh, you're talking ill about the dead. I'm like, no, this is actually how he was. It's this.
Yeah. So then it's not speaking ill. It's just saying that's what he chose to do and was open about it. Which is my understanding. He was open about that.
Well, he was. He was definitely open.
Like, I want to be a freak and I use plenty of stuff. Mm-hmm. And, so he was open about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Too much, and as we get older, it's something I try to tell the other guys: be conservative in the stuff you use, and learn to look after your health. Like even me right now, I'm only on a replacement dose of test, and that's all I'm going to be on for the next 6 months. 125 tests, nothing else, because I'm 48. I can't be running around using multiple things all the time. You just can't. I mean, I've watched too many of my contemporaries, drop dead.
I've never
People I
been
have
on a
rivalries
program,
with.
so I don't know how any of that stuff, like I have
Right.
enough aggression deep down in my little black heart, so I don't know what that stuff would do to me. Maybe I should get on test. I mean, Lenny was like, oh, you just a little bit of test at him.
Little test goes a little. How old are you?
44.
44. So a little test goes a long way. I mean, 44, a little, not a lot, even 100 to 125.
Anytime I've ever done my testosterone work, blood work, it's come back. I'm like in the 650 range. But to
Oh,
Lenny,
okay.
those are cookie cutter numbers. I needed to
Yeah,
get to
no, that's a
100.
nice, that's actually solid though. 650 at 44 is pretty solid. Like that's reasonable. Like
Let's not
I,
that
I'm
stays
at,
that way.
I'm at seven to 800 on my replacement dose right now.
Wow.
So
Without the dose though, what was it cruising at?
like if I were to not be on that, I
Yeah.
haven't been off in 15 years.
Oh wow.
Probably
Because
250,
yeah, like a lot of guys like I speak to that are maniacs and fans and even trolls. I don't even know who they are. It's just like no avatar. They have no post, and they're like, yeah, there's a couple guys I talk to. They're like, oh, I'm on a horrible diet, and my test levels are like 250. I'm thinking about going on test, and like these conversations are repeatedly, and I'm like, listen, I'm the wrong guy to give you guys any advice, but I guess consult like a physician or a doctor or talk to somebody who knows about this stuff. But
right,
they come to me and talk. I think they're just talking about it, but like I'm the wrong person to give anybody advice on
right.
that stuff.
But again, they're all on bad diets and stuff too. And I mean, that's not going to fix that. I mean, they're just treating the symptom. And granted, if you're at 250 fixing your diets, it's still not going to put you at 600. It might put you at 300. Or if you're really fat, it might put you up to 400 if you lose the body fat and fix your diet. But you're still not going to have an amazing level if you're low. There's at that point, though, if they're going to do test over it, but they know their diet's bad, they're slapping a Band-Aid on it.
What do you think like is a step in the right direction to getting like America healthy again? Like, are you aligned with like
Well,
RFK Jr.?
I have a lot I say on this. I'm like, people don't like
Shoot.
what I say. I'm like, outlaw refined sugars, period. Or at least set a minimum age. You give it to a child, you go to prison. Minimum 18 to eat refined sugars. And then as you're an adult, you can treat it like alcohol.
Right on. What
And I've
about
said
that
that.
red dye stuff?
Honestly, I think we're worrying about the wrong stuff. That's so far down the list. I'm not saying we should be consuming a lot of red dye number 4. Don't get me wrong, but it's so far down the list. I feel like with some of that, we're stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. We need to look at what are the real stuff. What are the big problems? Ultra processed foods, refined sugars, that would be table sugar, high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, all of that. Get rid of it. Butter, refined oils, all of it. Get rid of all that. Done. 80% of your problems are gone. Then you can nitpick over pesticides and dyes and all of that. But you've got to get rid of the straight garbage, the empty calories that make us overeat, that cause inflammation. That stuff's got to go. So you get rid of all the added processed fats, get rid of all the refined sugars and make people eat real food. Sorry, no one's getting fat on steak, rice, and avocados or unhealthy.
No, that's true. That's absolutely true. I think that's why I like what I call Trump's like Avengers. He's getting the people right in the right place, are thinking the right way when it comes to nutrition and food. Because nobody's even looked at that stuff for years, and the amount of shit that's in our food, like just seed oil alone.
And it's the empty calories. Well, I jump on the butter versus seed oil thing all the time because I think butter is objectively worse. But the problem with the seed oil is it's still empty calories. It's empty fat calories that sticks to your fat ass is what happens. Because it's easy to overeat. Because people are like, oh, it's inflammatory. It's really not. It actually isn't if you look at the data. But what it does, it's fat calories that are easy to overeat. And so you start adding seed oils to everything, people are going to get fat from it. And when you get fat, then you have inflammation. So that's the issue with the seed oils is it actually isn't inflammatory directly the way a lot of people think. The research has shown it's not. But you'll overeat the hell out of it.
Interesting.
And we store fat calories primarily. And if we overeat fat calories, in that case of seed oils, we get fat. Body fat goes up, inflammation goes up.
Absolutely.
Direct correlation. So
I think that's the KFC meal plan, like 1 through 10 right there.
Right. Well, that's the thing. And the thing is, there's food science with this. And it's like, you don't even need a conspiracy theory for this. You simply just need to look at profitability. If companies are allowed to give you pretty much anything they want, it is in their best interest to develop science. Because there's a whole food science about making food more craveable, hyper palatable, so that you buy more of it because you're going to eat more of it. And so there's a whole food science to that. We don't need a conspiracy. It's purely about profit. So if you let the food companies do whatever they want, we live in a capitalist society, and I'm for capitalism. I don't oppose it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a communist here. I believe in a free market, but you've got to protect people from that free market. You can't give them poison. You can't make it legal to poison people.
They turn it around like it's like, and it's American choice if they want to, but like Americans really don't look at labels or do the research.
They don't look at labels. And we have multi-generational problems here. So look at it from this perspective. All these food companies, for our parents, they created hyper-palatable foods, and they made it normal for everyone to add table sugar to everything and add extra fats and do all this stuff. And it became part of our normal culture. And then we're given fairly addictive, hyper-palatable, calorie-dense foods growing up, and we're taught this is normal. And so then it's no longer a choice. Once 5-year-olds are taught something is normal, is it really choice anymore? So we're given children, in our case, it was us, our generation, we got a bunch of this addictive crap, all this junk food, and we were told this is normal. And our culture taught us that it's normal, and now it's available as adults. That's not really freedom anymore when it's given to you as a kid. That's like giving a kid a bottle of vodka once a week and then saying, hey, it's a free choice for you to be an alcoholic or not. No, we don't let people do that to kids. There's your solution.
Yeah, like you look at things like the Learning Channel, which has nothing to do with learning, and every show is about somebody morbidly obese, My 1,000-Pound Life, twin huge sisters, the baby dinosaur girls. Like the list goes on and on and on. And like I don't remember ever seeing any of these shows when I was a kid, other than like you seeing actors like John Candy or big dudes, but like never this promoted. And
right, but we all knew they were fat, and that was the comedy behind it. It was different.
Right. Yeah, but like now it's like it was accepted more in the past like 4 years of like you have to accept this as beauty and this is awesome, and so it's like what
it's not. It's not. There's nothing beautiful about being unhealthy.
No.
And don't get me wrong, I can even appreciate a thicker girl sometimes. I mean, I like thick thighs, but I also am going to look at that and go, is this really what I want to be with long term? Or she's going to be diabetic? I mean, so.
Yeah, like that's like a lot of that's with genetics though. Like genetics, girls are like some girls like especially Latinas are like curvier, like and then like right. So and then the other girls are what Lenny would call the gals, just like flat as a wall. But I mean, it like there's genetics and then there's like going into like that way spectrum of like adding obesity on top of it.
Yeah. And well, then the other thing we deal with is we have to deal with the culture top to bottom. So essentially, we have a free-for-all to where companies are now allowed to give us this sort of, basically addictive garbage for profits. And of course, that's what's going to happen. That's how capitalist system works. Anything that's profitable, the companies that can make money are the ones that are going to win out. So if you remove any ethics and they can literally feed you this as food, the ones that choose to are the ones who are going to win out because people are going to buy it. And then we have a whole culture built around the way that we eat. So if you think about the way that our society does stuff, what are we taught? We're taught to reward ourselves with food. We're taught as kids, hey, you had a special achievement at school. Well, let's have a cake or a pizza party. Hey, it's your birthday. It's a celebration. So then we start to associate all this with friends, family, with achievements, right? We reward ourselves with food. But then what else do we? We also then get taught as a form of soothing. So if you're upset, that dessert will make
comfort food, right?
Comfort food. So then now we're eating garbage both as a celebration, and even I at Christmas, I mean, I eat my junk food at Christmas with family, because it's Christmas and I'm going to do it, but it's a one-day thing. I gain 1 pound from it when I'm done because I walk into it fasted and eat 200 grams of protein before I hit the junk.
Yeah.
And that resolves the problem. But, it's a one-time thing. I'm not going to have any junk again for a month.
Are you a drinker?
No, I will be 6 years sober next week.
Nice.
So
do you do any edibles or anything like that? Smoker?
Well, that would be illegal to do where I live in Texas. No, I mean,
is it illegal in Texas?
Yeah, I mean, in a social environment with people I trust, I'm hanging out with cool chicks or something, I'll have an edible, but I don't smoke weed generally.
Cigars?
No, I don't do any of that. Well, smoking contributed to my mom's death, so I don't smoke.
Okay.
So for me, it's none of that. But I'll occasionally have done edibles every now and then in a social environment where it's just chill. It's people I'm comfortable with. and they happen to be.
There was something I was going to pick your brain on. So Mark Bell, he spoke about this a couple of weeks ago about the benefits of walking outside, right?
Okay.
And then I saw a contrast to that there was like these two like fitness people online saying like walking is not exercise. I'm a huge walker.
I walk with a 50-pound weight vest on camera all the time.
Okay, so see, like I didn't know that, so like it's good
Yeah,
to
yeah,
hear
yeah.
that. Okay,
No, I have one of those road vests where you load plates in it, and so it's like a plate carrier. So I do 50-pound walks. I vlog while doing it. So I'm
really?
regularly in front of the camera talking with my people either on Facebook or YouTube while I go take a walk.
How
So
many
for
how
me,
many miles are you doing?
I only vlog time. I do about 30 minutes. So right now I'm only doing it about 4 to 5 times a week. The weather I haven't done it in the last 3 days because it was raining. I went to do it today after my workout, and it started raining. I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm just not getting out in my vest and my phone and everything in the rain. So it's 3 days in a row I've missed it. But I did it Saturday and Sunday for 30 minutes. So
Nice.
usually I try to get at least 5 of those in. I live 5 days a week and then I do that. I do all of it fasted. So
Well,
I
that
don't eat,
answers my
I don't eat
question.
till noon. I don't eat till noon. So
Yeah,
that's kind of,
that answers my question because I was like, I consider it exercise because like here in Florida, like you hear people
I
talking
mean,
about like I need.
I'm down in Houston. Yeah.
Okay, so like they talk about like, oh, I got to get to the gym and do cardio in the summertime. I'm like, go walk outside for half an hour. Hey, just the humidity, like my heart rate gets up to like
Right.
the 160, 175.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's what I do. I throw the vest on and walk.
awesome. What about pre-workout stuff like that? Are you
I
against
don't do any
them?
pre-workouts. So I don't
No,
believe in pre-workout. I've been anti pre-workout for years.
really. So like, what's your caffeine intake? Is it just straight coffee
It's
or?
high. I drink a whole pot of black coffee first thing in the morning.
Wow. See, like I'm
So
not a coffee drinker at all.
yeah, so I do the opposite. So that's for me. I do. You'll freak out with what I eat. Everyone's like, "Wait, you eat that much in that window?" I'm like, "Yeah." For me, it's usually I do like a 18/6 intermittent fasting, and I do about 3,800 to 4,000 calories through my feed window.
Holy
So I
shit.
shoot for 300 grams of protein. So I do all my training fasted.
Mm.
Yeah, people will freak out. They're like, "Dude, you're doing rep work with 550 on the deadlift fasted." I'm like, "Yeah." And then I'm going to do a bunch of good mornings and reverse hypers and glute ham raises.
I'm stupid. What's good morning?
Oh, like I've done good mornings with over 500. It's where you put a bar on your back like a squat, but you bend all the way over at the waist and come back up.
Is the camera right behind your ass when you do that? So like, you get it.
Sometimes. So lately it hasn't been. Just for Andrew, I'll do one for Andrew next time and send it to him. Just
The
to
crotch
get him
shot.
excited, right? The crotch shot. Like I was saying, man. I mean, I'm not gay. I'm strictly taco no burrito, but $20 is $20.
$20 is $20. Tough times. Past 4 years, we're coming out of it.
The best eggs right now, man. Because I eat 6 eggs every day.
Are you happy with like the new sheriff in town?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not really ultra conservative. I'm more of a libertarian leaning moderate, but look at what the alternative was.
Yeah, unrecognizable, right?
Yeah. So, when this came up and people asked me, I'm like, guys, I'm voting at this point purely to save the economy. Like that was it. So I'm like, I am voting purely over the economy at this point. We cannot afford another 4 years. I financially can't afford another 4 years of this.
Nobody can. No, it's bad.
The,
It's
the
really
middle class
bad.
is going to be gone.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I always said that the middle class wouldn't exist anymore if we continue on this trend where you look at the U.S.A. stuff. Like, I mean, we're doing sex changes for trannies in Guatemala and Sesame Street and whatever, and it's
Right,
like,
right.
what the fuck were we paying? This is.
And
I was
we're
like,
30
I
trillion
made
in debt.
right, and I made a video. I'm like, I want my money back. Like all my taxpayer dollars. I didn't want any of my money to go towards this stuff. For fuck's sake.
So in my case, yeah, I when I was asked, because I don't like to discuss politics a lot on my channel because it's a
Right.
lifting channel, but when it came up, I'm like, they're like, how are you voting? I'm like, these people are like, oh, you're leftist, you're going to vote for Biden and Harris, and I'm like, no. I mean, there are a few things I agree with the left on, but I'm not on the left. I'm very pro gun and I'm very pro, fiscal freedom.
What are some of the things on the left you agree with?
Oh, is this going to piss people off?
Fuck
I'm
you. Who
for
cares?
legalizing marijuana. I'm for free choice. Like as far as pro life versus pro choice, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not saying I think abortion's a good thing. It's not. It's a terrible thing. But I'm not going to jump in and tell someone else what to do with that.
Right.
You know, So it's kind of, to me, that's a personal decision. Now that pisses off my friends because probably most of my friends are very on the right, and they get mad when I say that, but I'm like, it's how I feel about it. I'm not super passionate.
A lot of them come back because of like a religion.
Yeah.
It's against Christian values.
But you can't force your religion on other people. That's the problem.
Right.
We don't live we live in a free country where people don't have to follow whatever your religion happens to be. So, that's one of those. Same thing like marijuana. It should be totally legalized. I don't even smoke weed. It shouldn't be criminalized at all.
Yeah, no, it
just shouldn't be. It should be
this state by state stuff has been going on for way too long. I mean, it's gotten a lot better. I thought that, Yes to 3 was going to pass and, Florida was going to be, I swore, because we already met it here and I thought we were going to go full rec. Didn't happen. And I'm like, really? Right. I'm like, Florida, I would have thought.
Texas is still very strict on it.
Are they, I can't remember, but is Texas medical only or?
Medical only and only for PTSD. And that only got passed through because of veterans.
Interesting.
So that's like one of the only things they allow it for. And I know people who have their card here. I know 3 people who have their card for PTSD. But, it's still pretty strict on it.
The strange thing is you can get edibles sent to your door from many companies online.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, those are things I agree with them on. Well, and another one that's funny, and it upsets some of my other friends who are very conservative. I'm also extremely pro-Second Amendment. I don't believe in background checks, but I believe in criminal justice reform. Like, people are like, how can you say? I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's one of your basic rights. It's listed in the Bill of Rights. It does not say unless you have a criminal background. I didn't see that written anywhere in there. So you wrote a bad check somewhere, so you lose one of your constitutional rights.
Yeah.
Well, do you lose your free speech? Do you lose your right to trial by jury? You don't lose any of that. So they're like, but they're dangerous. I'm like, so if a person's dangerous, why are they on the street?
Absolutely. So
my logic would be, why are we even discussing our constitutional rights when we have a criminal justice system that needs to be reformed? And that's where I'll agree with the left. Criminal justice needs to be to rehabilitate people. It shouldn't be about a sentence. It shouldn't be about X years for Y crime. Can you fix them? That should be the entire purpose. You either keep them locked up or you fix them. When they're able to be a productive member of society again, whether it takes 3 days or 57 years, you let them back out. That's how it should be built. Can they function and be a productive member of society? Yes or no?
Yeah, that number.
Question on the release.
Yeah, I think you look at a lot of statistics and they come out and it's like they go right back into like their old same ways.
Sure, because we just throw them in with a bunch of other criminals and don't really rehabilitate. It's a zoo. Instead of saying, okay, if they can't be fixed, you don't ever let them out. If we can fix them, if they just need the right education, if we need to get them off drugs, they need a rehab, they need some vocational training, whatever, if they need some therapy, let's put them through that, put them back out on the street so that they're working, contributing again, if they're safe to return on the street. If they're not safe to put on the street, they stay there till they are. If that takes for life, then it takes for life. And
that's an interesting take. No, it's interesting because, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You think that, like, our prison system would have some form of rehab, and I think they do have some form of rehabilitation at some point.
We still view it as a punishment model, and it's like, it shouldn't be. It should be a protection model. My tax dollars shouldn't be going to punish anybody. My tax dollars should be going to protect society. Either we are protecting society or we aren't. So if we can fix them, then we're not spending money anymore. Let's get them back out in public with better jobs, making money. Then they're paying taxes. They're contributing to the economy versus sitting in the prison, wasting money because it's expensive. But if we can't fix them, then we need to have those cells freed up for the people who can't be fixed. If you have someone who's just not redeemable, we can't let them out. And if they're too heinous, we have a death penalty. If they're that extreme, we have that at least in Texas. So if we actually used that system correctly, we wouldn't be having this talk about infringing the Second Amendment at all. Why we need a background check. If you're too dangerous to own an AR-15, I don't want you on the street.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. So it's common sense, and thank God, like, we're in the age of, hopefully in the next 4 years, it'll be common sense. How do you, like, looking back at the past 4 years and seeing just I won't call them out, but you know what? Like running into Walgreens and just theft and like, don't touch them, let them do what they want to do. Like,
Again, that's a problem. I know where you're going with that. And again, I hold a very non-racist view, actually. Really dislike racism. But we're dealing with a case of where if that's the case and people are not being arrested because it's going to scream racism, this is a problem too. We're falling back over to favoritism in an unequal society.
it's a huge issue when police can't be called or, because they get afraid to be sued or have a mob of Black Lives Matter, waiting outside the police, department because somebody got stopped from stealing from a Walgreens.
Yeah, it's a problem. The problem.
For sure.
I know that several of my close friends are police officers. My best lifelong bro is on a SWAT team and a warrant officer.
Yeah, there's one of the things like watching the past 4 years, and we talk about this a lot on these episodes, but it's just watching the fact that there's theft can be allowed, especially like San Francisco and California, where it's just like the ninth level of hell, where these things are allowed to go on. Don't call the cops, don't touch them, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
No, it's a different area. Of course, I'm in Texas, so stuff's a little different. I mean, we all carry. I carry everywhere I go.
Right, yeah.
I'm in a little different world. So,
what's your carry go to?
Glock 19.
Nice. I'm a SIG guy.
Okay. This is where we get into that ideological fight. No, I like SIGs.
I've always liked the look of SIGs. It's my thing. Like they look sexy to me. I've always liked the way they look. I like the way they fire. And I like
the durability of the Glocks. I like the indestructible mags. I like the fact that parts interchangeability, mag interchangeability, and they're all the same. So it's like once I've mastered one Glock, I can pick up any Glock and it feels identical.
Nice.
So if I can drill a hole in the X-ring at 10 yards with one Glock, I can grab any Glock and do it. It doesn't matter. Because it's just that consistency. And I like that reliability. Just my thing. I do like SIGs, but SIGs are great guns. I've almost thought about eventually going over to 1911, even though I like the reliability of the Glock. There is just kind of the cool factor. Yeah, so I've thought about eventually just open carrying a Colt. Like I've thought about a Delta Elite and 10 millimeter just as an open carry.
Delta Elite.
Well, the 10 mil. Yeah.
What's this? Somebody messaged me when we started talking about this whole CIA thing. Tell me what that's about.
Oh my God, this was me trolling 10 years ago. It was a 10-year ago thing I did as a publicity, and then it got out of control, and I took it all down. This has been 10 years. Like I've made apology videos over the years. So people still want to bring that up, and they don't realize not only was this only done for a short period of time, I pulled all of it down 10 years ago, and I have made multiple public apologies for the whole thing over the years.
So you were trolling the trolls back?
No. I was just doing publicity because it was kind of, think about what was happening on the internet and YouTube. It was the Wild West 10, 12 years ago. Plus we had all the Alex Jones conspiracy stuff. So I jumped up and said, oh yeah, so I made it a conspiracy thing. Literally said that I was a mercenary to hit me up for the Clintons. I made this whole spiel about it, right? And this is what I did. And I did it. I thought it was hilarious. Some of my friends, even my cousin who was special forces, thought it was hilarious. He passed away 2 years ago. He and I used to laugh about it. He thought it was hilarious. But it got taken out of control, and it got really crazy to where I was getting death threats and got swatted and everything over it.
Really?
So, yeah, dude, I got swatted over it.
Were you doing like a live stream, or this was just like you in your house?
No, because stalkers and stuff got so angry, and then because it got blown up when this one gaming streamer made a video and mentioned me and said, oh, he claimed to lie about being in the Army. And it wasn't Army, it was mercenary. And, as a contractor and a hitman. And he spun it into Army and said he lied about being in the Army, and that's fucked up. And so it got 1.5 million views. So I got 1,000 death threats the next day. Ultimately, between my YouTube and Facebook, it was like so many people were going to kill me. It was just... And then they were going to kill my girlfriend, and they were going to rape her and kill her and rape and kill my sister. And they're like, I'm a veteran and I'm going to kill your sister and rape her in front of you, for that. And I'm like, I didn't handle it well. I really handled it poorly. I'm not going to go into what all I did.
All right.
My backlash against it was not well thought out. And it made it worse. But then I took all of it down. And then it went on, and I issued public apologies. I even gave money to a veteran charity and everything, and apologized to the guy in person and shook his hand and, said I would never do it again and I was sorry, and gave money to his charity and but none of it mattered. Like once it was done, it was done. So it didn't matter that I got up and explained and even later apologized in a 15-minute long video.
Yeah, digital
And
ink forever.
it's forever. And so people thought that, like, I still had people like, you were just saying it. I'm like, even it was like 7 years later. I'm like, no, guys, it was 7 years ago. Now it's been 10 years. And yet it still hangs around and people still think I'm still claiming it. There were people who, even after I'd issued public apologies, thought I was still doing it, like years after the public apologies. So, and when people ask me, I'm like, I have said, and I've said this to many people, it was literally the biggest mistake of my entire life. And those are my exact words I've said on the camera. That's me saying it public here. It was literally the stupidest thing I have ever done in my 48 years on earth. Like this one thing I could undo, anything I've ever done, it would be that.
It's interesting. I appreciate you giving insight because I had no clue. They're talking about CIA, and I'm like, I don't understand what the joke is.
So the thing with it is, so I've said that in public too. Like, if there's one thing that I could undo, one mistake, that would be it. And I can freely admit it was the stupidest thing I have ever done.
Yeah, but you learned from it, right? I don't
think there's anything else even close.
10 years ago, you've learned from it, right?
I learned from it real fast right then.
Well, even too is like any publicity is good publicity, right?
Well, in theory, but I lost thousands of followers. I got swatted. I got stopped.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, so I got swatted twice. I also had a bomb squad close my street down once with a terroristic threat with 200 pounds of bombs. I still have all the police reports. So it got a little crazy.
I thought pizzas getting delivered to my house were bad.
No, dude, I had 200 pounds of fake bombs with a threat sent to the office of the apartments I was leasing. And I had a whole other issue that during that same time where trolls were sending people to my door, and it was a gated community with a code. They weren't supposed to be able to get in. And it was a really nice apartment with even some security and stuff, but they were still getting in. So they were at the time, right before the bomb scare happened, one of my crazy stalkers was he decided I was a cuckold, right? So my girl, I'm not going to talk about it. She agreed I wouldn't talk about her. I was dating someone at the time who they decided had previously been a man. So they made a whole set of Craigslist ads, one of my stalkers did, pretending for her to be a tranny looking for black men and for me to watch. And so they sent a dude to my door because, again, it had specifically black dudes. And so, they were hoping I would shoot one to, like, we can prove he's racist if he shoots one. So that was the guy's plan. He put online that was his plan.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy? And I hate to cut you off, but like, it's crazy about this is that, a lot of things that I see, like I before we started recording, I told you about like how I get off on like their tantrums, right? And they leave, they get so mad that I'm still around or whatever the case may be. The one thing they always say is like how obsessed like I am with like the misfits and like this lie of like, oh, I moved to South Florida to be around the misfits. And you realize like how obsessed a lot of these individuals are with like this whole community. And at the same time, it's somewhat flattering, but it's also scary. And then at the same time, you're like,
I always carry.
Me too. But I mean, at the same time, it's just like, I don't want to have to take someone's life. Like, maybe it's time you take some time off of online. And they'll say that about me. Oh, he needs to spend time with his kids and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that's the pot calling the kettle black. You guys go into deep discussions.
These are the ones who need to be taking some time off from the internet. But here's the thing that other people say, they're like, wait, you've dealt with all this, right? You've dealt with that level of stalking. You've dealt with being swatted. You've dealt with all this stuff, yet you never went 24 hours without making a video. Like, no. At no point anywhere in there have you seen me put up less than 2 videos in 24 hours in 12 years. I'm not going anywhere.
What's that? It's sort of like Leonardo, Wolf of Wall Street.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just amazes me, and like there's a lot of great people I've met in this universe. Like even doing these video series, I get to talk to a lot of maniacs and people. Like this is my first time talking to you, but It's like there's the opposite end of that coin that you constantly get and you see, and it's just like holy shit. I'm like, to me, again, it fuels me because I don't know what it is about hatred and negativity. It just makes me want to like do things more to see the tantrums more.
Just to get attention. Yeah. Well, it's like that with some other people I know. They don't care. So what I found is like these crazy stalkers will harass everyone in my life, and they'll get some people to cave, and other people it just makes them more enamored with me. So it's kind of funny. Like there's other people who a lot of these people have harassed. Like, well, I'm not going to let them tell me what to do. So it doesn't go always well when they do that. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is, you get these people online, these trolls, and in my case, they're really stalkers at this point. They're not just trolls. And you look at that and go, this is a whole sign of mental illness.
Oh, for
And
sure.
it's extreme untreated mental illness that's not being addressed. And then we're seeing it manifested online. And that's where we get into other big topics. That's where I had to really question a lot of my own philosophical views because of things I've dealt with in privacy laws. There have been times when I step back and go, why can't more be done about these people? Well, because they have rights until they cross a certain line. And that's where I start to step back and go, I don't know, with the amount of stuff I've dealt with and people hiding under privacy laws, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I wonder if it's now time to change some of that. And I get the need for privacy, and I always believed in that as some of freedom believing. But man, when you've dealt with the level of death threats and stalking and harassment I have, it's kind of like, you almost kind of go, maybe we don't need these laws.
Yeah.
Maybe if you do something like that, you need to be just found immediately with no right to privacy.
Yeah, that's a sketchy line because,
But it's a sketchy line. Yeah.
I'm a big pro against like free speech. So like no matter how much hatred and negativity gets said, it's like go ahead, have your time. And I always said like I let the trolls do what they want to do because it's like that's their space, they want to do it. Like
Yeah.
but the level of like deep analysis, like I was going to talk to Brad when he was going to join, the deep analysis over him not being with his girlfriend,
Mm-hmm. I
like
get
is
it nonstop.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know. We talked about not really diving into this, but like, it just I think about it, because you probably get screen caps and you see it in the messages, and it's just like,
Nonstop.
holy shit.
Nonstop. Yeah. It's a nonstop barrage all the time. But I don't let it keep me off the internet. That's the thing. It's kind of like, it's so weird because all these people think that they're going to break you. And I'm kind of like, dude, you guys have been trying a long time. You would have broke me already. Like, if it was even possible, you would have broke me already, guys. I've experienced worse than what you guys have put me through.
Yeah. Like and like it's I call it playing 4D chess. So like, a couple of years ago I encountered like I was living in South Florida and I was going to Redcon 1 gym, and a couple of trolls were trying to get me banned from the gym. And it didn't stop me from filming in there and doing what I got to
Oh, yeah.
do. But then, like just to show how serious they were about like you said, stalking. When I left South Florida, I said I'm going to move to North Carolina to Dale Chance Estates, and I played that card for like almost a year, and all of them thought I was living with Dale Chance at Chance Estates. I'm laughing my ass off. I'm like, I'm nowhere near North Carolina. But that just again, it shows you like the deep analysis they're going into.
Oh, I've been banned from venues. I've had trolls successfully get me banned from venues multiple times.
Wow. Like
They
fitness
take it serious.
expos or
Everything. I've been banned even. I don't want to get into all the details, but
sure.
because they've created such an extreme set of evidence for all their claims. So just so that you're aware of what all the claims are against me, so that we can just give you an idea. So if 25% of it was true, I'd be in prison, by the way.
Oh wow.
So
I can
so
imagine.
so all my trolls at this point have fabricated all their own evidence to prove that I'm a Klan member, that I'm a neo-Nazi, that I'm a convicted pedophile, that I'm a minor attracted person, that I'm an animal abuser, and have murdered animals, that I have Klinefelters, that I'm actually 5'4", that I'm a cuckold who's into interracial cuckoldry, that I'm in the closet, that I'm into pegging and being pegged by women. So they have this list that just goes on and on and on, and they're 100% convinced it's true. And so then they've even fabricated. They've essentially took a video I made in 2012. I used to run a little small advice channel, and I told a guy in there who was sent me a thing. He was 19 or something with a 15-year-old girlfriend. He asked for advice on you to break up with her.
Yeah.
She's 4 years younger. She's underage. Like, you're going to go to jail.
Yeah.
You need to break up with her.
Yeah, you go to
Block
jail.
her number. You need to block her number. Tell her family you will never talk to her again. Tell her parents, I'm sorry, I will never talk to your daughter again. And you block her and you run. That's what you need to do. And you need to go find someone your own age. And in the video, I made the mistake of breaking down the history of age of consent. And I said, we need age of consent laws for a reason. And I essentially said, look, I get that some of you younger guys, once a girl's reached puberty or whatever, she's got pheromones, you might be attracted to her. She's still too young. Don't do it. Just run. Just get out of there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. She's 13 or 14 and you're 18, you need to run.
You know, that's one of the
Doesn't
things
matter.
Lenny, this is one of the things like going back to Lenny, he spoke about this, about like they're 14, they're ready to be married and
No,
having
no.
kids.
And I say no. But the thing is, that was the point I made, that no. And I was talking to the young guys. So my trolls and haters literally spun that and remixed that video to make it say that I was interested, but I'm not. Like every woman I've been with in all these years that they've known of was 30s or 40s. So but they spun it and then they made it into he's admitting to that. I'm like, but I didn't. It was literally a video explaining to these guys that it doesn't matter if you're attracted to them. You need to stay away. They're 5 years younger than you. 6 years. No,
Absolutely.
run. You need to just get away. No. I'm like, and those laws exist for a good reason. Like,
Yeah, no,
so
for sure.
I literally made the video in defense of that, but they spun it in that direction. They literally, like one of my stalkers used that to take it to get me kicked out of at least the local level of the USPA. I'm still allowed at the national level. I've spoken with the president of the Fed, but the state chair doesn't allow me to compete because of that.
Holy
I thought
shit.
about suing. I may eventually need to just sue him over it, and I might do that
Yeah.
just on principle because it's based upon a lie.
That's
But
just incredible, man.
so haters have literally took that to then present it in that direction that I'm somehow attracted to that. I'm not. And they did, and the video wasn't even presented in such a way to suggest that it was literally made to tell this 19-year-old he had no business with a 15-year-old girlfriend, that he needs to run.
Mm.
No, block her number, block her online, and apologize to her parents.
That's
Tell her
incredible.
dad, sir, I will not talk to your daughter ever again. I'm sorry. That's what I basically told him to do.
And they spun it. They just shifted it into editing it so that you could sound. Yeah, wow. That's a shame.
And that's crappy. And the reason, and I don't want to get into other backstory, but I've always been very public and outspoken about me being an abuse survivor from my own childhood. And I don't want to make that the topic of this video. I don't want to get into it, but I've discussed it in videos. And I've always told people getting under a barbell is important. If you're any sort of abuse survivor or sexual assault survivor, getting under a barbell is really helpful with your therapy.
No, it is.
And I've always been very encouraging of that. Getting into training. So it's always been kind of part of my platform for like 12 years. So then they kind of spun it in the other direction. So then my haters have tried to spin me into being a pedophile.
Incredible.
And when there's literally not one reason to even think that anywhere that I'm aware of.
There's no low they won't go towards.
But again,
no line they won't cross.
Enormous list. And that's kind of the thing. I'm like, if you really want to demonize somebody, what sort of stuff do you throw at them? And if you can catch them at all of it, you'll get everyone to hate them. So in their case, they did the big three. They've accused me of being a racist. They've accused, and not just a mild racist, not just that racism light. They literally, like card.
You're the Grandmaster Wizard.
That's what they tried to accuse me of. And the funny thing is that people who know me in real life are like, what? Yeah, so I've had to tell like my Latina friends I can't eat their pussies anymore. Sorry, sorry, I'm not allowed to. It's against my internet persona, I guess.
Yeah, the clan won't let me.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to. So there's that. So they've done that. So it's like accuse someone of being a racist, accuse them of being a pedophile, accuse them of being an animal abuser, and then create your evidence to prove it. So it's kind of like you look at that and go, how despicable of a person would I have to be all these things? And then they keep adding other stuff to it. I'm like, so you've hit the big three. These are the ones that will really get people's attention.
And the fact that you're still here, it's like, it shows that none of that stuff really matters. I mean, it just, at this point, it's really noise, but it does cross. There's no low they won't go to.
No. And so then all the noise out there, you then see all the buzz. And then it's like, all the noise and the static of it and the whole fake Merc thing. So then they spun it as then me hating veterans then, and I don't. It's just hilarious because I'm sitting over here even hanging out with my cousin at the time who's 20 years Special Forces. Then they see me at his funeral and his wife saying all this nice stuff on my wall, how much he loved me and how close we were. It's like, yeah, guys, I don't hate veterans. I know where you guys are getting this crap. But they made that from my response. When that stuff blew up, I got pissed at those guys who, were saying that because they were a veteran, they were allowed to kill and rape my girlfriend and sister to get revenge at me. And I'm like, no. But then people took my response to those people as he was talking to all veterans. No, I was specifically talking to the ones who think that them being a veteran gives them a right to rape and murder U.S. citizens because you don't like their boyfriend or brother. No, I don't think being a veteran gives you a right to do that.
Yikes.
And in fact, you need to be locked up in prison if you think it does. If you need to be outside at that point.
Let's take a segue away from this topic. It's just, what are some of the, like, you being on YouTube, what are some of the channels that I guess you align with, or do you like engage with any other YouTubers?
I don't really engage with other YouTubers. I mean, I've been friends with Chris Jones a long time. We get along from Physiques of Greatness. And he still comes through and shouts through my stuff and in my comments every now and then. We hit up and mess every now and then. But I haven't, because of the noise, a lot of people are scared to associate with me. They're like, oh, we don't want to, they don't want to deal with the.
Are you a big fan of John Bravo? Do you know who that is?
I know John Bravo. We used to talk, but I've reached out to him recently and said, hey, man, I haven't talked to you. He's like, dude, I miss you, dude. We used to chat on the phone all the time. So I was still chatting with him when he came down and did that stuff with Genova. Like, I was friends with John. So we talked on the phone he used to call me about 2 or 3 hours a week just to shoot the shit. So I do know John Bravo. We just haven't spoken years. Like I said, I reached out to him the other day. I guess I'm assuming you know him or network with him.
Well, the best way, if you want to get like his attention, just like all you have to do is DM him a picture of Vidal Sassoon, and like immediately he gets happy, and then you'll have his attention.
Well, he does like his hair.
Oh yeah. I had some beef with Bravo for a while, but now him and I are like on, like, he's on his hill, I'm on my hill. He's waving his flag, I'm waving my flag.
Yeah, so everyone's good. Well, and then people get mad at me over the Genova. I just say, guys, I don't like to discuss Genova because I feel like he got exploited, taken advantage of. And I'm not trying to be a mean, but he does have his handicaps, and his family really should have let him get online. But he got really exploited by a lot of fans and crazy people. I remember like when some trolls convinced him to show his genitals on a cam. They like catfished him.
Oh yeah, that happened a lot of times.
That sort of stuff. It's like, come on, guys, this is just over the top. But I had to block Genova at one time because he kept calling me, asking me for money.
That's normal. That's normal.
He was calling me at 2. I'm like, my phone is Jason. I'm like, it's 2 a.m. Like, what in the fuck do you want, Jason? He's like, and this is how the conversation would go. Jason, I'm going to have a heart attack. I need $50. And I'm like, so it's 2 a.m., dude. I'm like, what? And he's giving me this long spiel about he needs it for steroids. And if he doesn't get his steroids, he's going to have a heart attack. And I can't send it electronically. I need you to mail it to me in cash. And I'm like, I just hang up on him. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. And he'd do it again the next day.
Wow.
So yeah. I ended up blocking Genova eventually.
The last time I saw Jason was in LA Fitness when I was living in South Florida. The LA Fitness that's on Yamato. I have a video. He comes up to me and he says, "What's up, McCluck?" And I'm doing sit-ups underneath the stairs at the LA Fitness that's in Yamato in Boca Raton. And that was the last time. And then like he knew right away, like he would try that extortion shit with me. And I'm like, Jason, I'm not giving you money.
No, I didn't either.
I've taken him out for breakfast and lunch and stuff like that, but I'm not giving you money. But all that, like, yes, he has mental issues, but his personality traits were taught to him by his mom.
Right.
His mom taught him and made him that way, like to extort people, take people, be a fountain diver, like that's all been taught. Like you can't teach somebody, like he knows from right from wrong. And again, I'm regurgitating a lot of the stuff that's been said over the years, but he knows right from wrong. So he knows when he's doing it. So he knew with me, like he would try, what he would do is he would call me and he would start talking to me about Star Wars or something he's doing, and always led into, so, hey bro, I need like $80 for like, and I'm like, Jason, wrong person. I'm not giving you money.
I didn't give him anything. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not doing this. I just hang up on him at that point.
Yeah. It's like one of the things, and this has to do with trolls, but one of the things that Jason was good at was being a buffer in this universe. Because a lot of shit, when he was doing all his stuff, it was like all the tension and noise from the beehive, like the hornet's nest, went like towards him
instead of towards everybody else.
And instead of everybody else. And like that buffer has been gone for so many years. So now like they want beef, they want issues, they want drama.
Now we're all getting older 66 still by everybody.
that doesn't even matter. And nowadays, an Order 66 is nothing compared to when he used to do them back in his heyday.
No.
But that's just stuff from the past.
Yeah. Well, and the same thing, like I called out Piana on that when Piana hit him that time. That just, yeah, yeah. But I don't want to drag all that out. I've briefly discussed stuff I knew about Piana that some of his exes told me in conversations, and he's dead, so I leave him alone.
Nah, yeah.
He was not a good guy.
No,
but I called him on it. Like when he hit Genova, I made a video going, "No, dude, you need to be in jail."
Yeah, that was just, you don't put your hands on somebody, especially a mentally handicapped person.
You just hit a mentally handicapped person in public on camera.
On camera.
Like
he went into damage control, and he was trying to make videos of Jason coming to his gym and stuff like that.
And then collab with him to not press charges. And it's like, then he manipulated him to not press charges. It's like, well, I'll give you shout outs and all this if we're cool now. Because he was a violent thug and he couldn't control himself. He was, and so he hit him on camera. And
I just never, I don't want to speak ill about somebody. I just never saw the appeal.
I didn't either. And I left a lot of it alone. I knew a lot of serious allegations and stuff that was sent to me. And it's like with some of it, because some stuff was sent to me because they knew I called people out. But I chatted with, his wife, Sarah, for about 3 hours, her and her boyfriend at the time after she left Rich. And same thing, I became friends with his second wife, Amy, and we chatted online sometimes. She passed away here a couple of years ago. She died. But she was on my Facebook, and she sent me quite a few stuff and sent me some voice messages, and we chatted about some of this back and forth, over a couple of years. I never met her in person, but she was just on my friends list, and so she communicated with me on Facebook. And then
what's strange about that is like this universe also too is like many people as you probably met and spoken to. What's the percentage of people you've never met on like in person?
Oh, a lot. Like, I've definitely met some of the different people, in person, but most of them I haven't, because I don't go to a lot of events. If I just showed up at an expo, I think people would freak out. I've been to an expo since 2013. And then was it the Olympia was here in Orlando? I did some body power. I was in the UK at the time. And then when I laugh and I get haters who make a big deal about it, like, oh, whatever, but then when I get there, it's all the other YouTube guys are like, holy shit, dude, you're way bigger than we thought you were. Because I rolled in there, I was like 230 at the time. And then they're all short and light about their stats. So these dudes are all claiming 6 foot and whatever, and they're the same height as me. I'm 5'9", and I'm standing eye to eye with all the 6 foot guys. But I was 230 at the time and competing in powerlifting.
Full transparency, I'm 5'2", I'm an Ewok.
Okay.
That's what the trolls believe.
Right, gotcha. Well, they think I'm 5'4". And, in spite of the fact that they've seen me next to other known people with stats, it's like, okay, dude, whatever. But then they've also made the mistake of standing next to some people who were 6'4" or 5", like 2 of my friends. I got on camera with them once, and then so that's used as their evidence. I'm like, that guy's 6'5" and 280, right? But but they ignore it when they see me next to a 5'7" body. It's like, I just ignore that didn't happen. But I got to that expo, and then everyone like Ogus, and I hung out with Matt Ogus a lot. Jeff Side ran from me because he had threatened me ahead of time. And then I found out he was really small. I'm like, dude, you don't even lift. Like, you're fucking tiny. I'm just like, you could fit in my thigh. But he was running around claiming 6 foot, 200 pounds, 18-inch arms. He was like $160 at 5'9".
Oh, wow.
Those camera angles, man, a little Photoshop goes a long way.
His camera angles.
Well, no, it was the case of, and I still talk about this sometimes. I thought it was so funny because he got online and said, at Body Power, I'm going to walk up and punch Blaha in the face. And so I made a status update and tagged him in it and said, okay, so here's what's going to happen. You're going to hit me in the face, and I'm going to climb up you and bite your fucking nose off and spit it back in your face and ruin your modeling career. And then that's going to turn me on, and you're going to have 230 pounds of pissed off power lifter up your ass.
Incredible.
So that was what I wrote, which I thought was funny. He ran. He didn't want anything to do with me when I showed up at his booth. So I took his booth for an hour and just chilled with his bros. He took off. He's just like, I'm out of here, dude.
What brand of the booth was this?
Gymshark, I think.
Oh, really?
So I hung out with his dudes, and we all hung out and chilled for a bit. And
those expos are just so bizarre. Like the last one I was at in Orlando, that's Lenny came up with a maniac.
I've been to another one since then. I haven't bothered.
Yeah, like I went there and I was more pissed about the entry fee. And I'm like, $65 for me to walk around and get free energy drinks?
Right.
I drove all this way. All right, whatever. I got to see Lenny and
Well,
it was just bizarre.
it was weird for me because that was my first real expo. I would do powerlifting meets, but I hadn't done any expos like fitness stuff because to me I was just a normal guy. I didn't think of myself as an internet celebrity. I had like 50 or 60,000 followers at the time. And, so I show up at this event and there's all these people. I had a bunch of people who were threatening me and none of them did anything anywhere. Everyone was polite, but he's like, I love your videos, dude. Can I get an autograph? Can I get a picture with you? And, it was really weird. It was
You're a
really
real,
strong.
as Jason would say, you're a real internet celery.
Yeah, internet celery at that point. And it was really weird for me. So I didn't quite know how to take it because I hadn't had any of that happen. And then I go over to watch the powerlifting event, and one of the powerlifters see me. He gets off the platform and he runs over to shake my hand. It's like, I love your videos, dude. And because I went to go watch the competition happening, and I'm sitting there watching the powerlifting, and I turn around because someone like my wife at the time, because I was married, she taps me on the screen like, these people want to talk to you. And I turn around and there's this queue of people, about 50 people long, standing behind me to talk to me. They just lined up, and I'm over here just watching the event. Wasn't in a booth, and I'm just like, okay, this is really fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then
You should have unfolded a table and just sat down.
I know, no, but I stood there and I talked to every one of them, and talked to them about their lifting, and asked them how much they deadlift, and do they have any videos of their lifts? You want me to look at it, So I stopped and chatted with every single one of them, but it was kind of surreal. And then you get used to that because random people stop you here and there in the grocery store or Starbucks or something. It happens. It's usually a Walmart, but that was a really weird experience to me. But I have no idea what happened. I've thought about eventually doing some other expos and just showing up just to see.
Yeah, they're not
But
for
they're
me.
weird. They're not for
Not
me.
for me.
I haven't been to another one since then. And
It's
then
just
we
it's
ran
very bizarre. Like I said, you walk around, it's just all these booths and they're selling, giving out free
just
energy drinks.
and then stuff.
I think I think at the one in Orlando there was like a sumo wrestling was going on in the back, and Lenny was trying to get into it. I thought that was more entertaining, but it was like a tiny little thing in the back compared to all the other noise that was going on in the expo.
Right.
Yeah, but Jason, listen, we've been doing this for an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, have we? Yeah, I
Yeah,
wound it down.
I appreciate your time. I don't like to keep people too long, and I really wish that all these other guys could have joined so you could have spoken to them.
Right.
So at
Yeah.
some point, maybe we'll do it again and get these
Let's
guys.
do another one. So let's see if we can get them in. So assuming the trolls don't completely destroy you,
Nah,
maybe next month we'll get them in if the other guys will come in.
you know
We'll get
this.
it wrapped.
I use Riverside for this platform, and it has an audience feature, so they can essentially watch it live as it's happening. And I thought about that, and at the same time, I'm like, because like what I like to do is undersell and over deliver. I never
Right.
post like who's going to be my guest, and I just put it out there because then it doesn't. I don't let anybody down by saying a lot of people oversell. Oh, I'm going to have Robert Frank. Robert Frank's coming on. Robert Frank's coming. And what happens if Robert
Yeah.
Frank pulls out? Then
Then
you
you got
look
to
like an
call it.
asshole, right?
There you go.
Like you promoted this, and so I do them, and I just put it out there. So having an audience is kind of like it's a nice feature, but at the same time, I'm like, that's kind of like a live audience to kind of okay, let's go to the live audience chat and see what they're saying, and it's all like the N word, like no, I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah. Yeah, I
So
blocked
like
somebody.
it's one of those things like I tippy toe around. Yeah.
Because I do live streams almost daily, and you deal with that a lot. Just to get through the filter, you have the guys who will spell it out. It's like,
Yeah.
really, dude? Like, how immature are you that you really need to get through a filter to spell out one letter at a time?
Here's the thing too, and I'll end on this note, but like for all the things we said about trolls, like a lot of them really do make me laugh. Like there's a lot
Some
of
of
things
them are
they
hilarious.
like they send me stuff like and it really is hysterical things that they send me. So for the most part, like you take that 5% of like what that part is, but
Yeah,
there's and then you take the part of real people that you engage with and you talk to and you grow relationships with, and then
right.
ones that just send you funny shit or
Yeah.
and all the
So
memes and stuff like that.
most trolls are legitimate funny there, but there's that malicious sect group. And
Yeah.
in my case, I have a pretty significant malicious group who are literally obsessed with stalking. But you set those aside, a lot of trolls are quite funny.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of them
There's
really are.
Yeah, they send you stuff and they talk to you about stuff, and it's just like, oh. If I'm pretty sure the FBI is deep in my DMs, but like the shit I get sent is like comical and scary at the same time.
Well, and I'll just say this again, maybe my stalkers will freak out and say he's lying. I don't suspect they're deep in my DMs.
Right
I know
on.
for a fact they are.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jason, I really appreciate your time, man.
All right, you're most welcome. Yeah, we'll do it another time. So see if we can get some of the other guys in. All right, take care, brother.
Thanks, man.
Yes, you can! Just do it! If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.